And we're back.
Hey!
10 minutes later.
I now need to play. Oh, how did I describe my character again? Could one of you guys help me out with that?
No, that was in the Baron Stein universe.
Oh, okay.
Please, no more.
No, wait, no, I'm wrong.
I want-
I'm sorry, wait, I have the best one. The Berenstein's Gate universe.
I want to write a shtick now.
I think I just killed Seb.
if only the Berenstain Bears would go through Steins Gate.
I love it. I want a world now where like it's like a tragedy looper plot, right? Where like you always die and then reset. Where just the Berenstein Bears, just like the way you know you're in a different world
It's like the title changes.
each time.
I like that idea. That would be like the best joke to have within the movie too, where just like the person wakes up and you just see the Berenstein's Bears.
Right on there.
Like the title keeps changing. Where like eventually like the final one, it's going to be Berenstein. It's Berenstein again, but it's with a B-A-R-E instead.
I love it. I'm like, no, but not only that, but like the tragedy looper plot would be something with your kid, right? Mm-hmm. And you read them their favorite book. Because I loved those books as a kid. So their favorite book is like the Berenstain Bears.
It's like the first time, the first couple times it happens, but you're not really sure if you're just like, you're like dreaming or whatever, and it's like, I was like, oh, I thought the title was a little bit different. I thought it was Berenstein, not Berenstain. That's weird.
Yeah. And that's how it starts. And then like after the fourth or fifth time on this tragedy looper plot, it clicks.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I need to save my kid.
Yeah.
I like that. And the thing that makes it clicks is you find it, okay, it's like B-Y-R-A-N.
That's not correct.
This needs to be made.
And by the point like that you see the Berenstain name and it's so corrupted, you're just like, obviously something's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Something's really hot.
And then as like a side gag, Mandela actually does die somewhere.
No, it's even better. It's not that he died, it's because he became the Lord Protector of like the universe or something.
That's the last scene.
Oh my god.
Be a comedy tragedy looper. Can we make this? Oh man, I want it.
Gather all the Mandela effects into one movie.
One very intentionally, not even B movie, but like C movie.
No, see, it's a B movie in the Berenstain universe.
No, the movie gets like cheaper and more gaggy with each loop.
You look for the very first loop, you have like AAA product,
And like the kid dies and it's like a really like intense tragedy. And then 5 seconds later, you reset at the beginning of the movie.
The final loop, like it's stick figure animation.
It's just really wonky and like wacky and goofy. I feel like
Oh my god.
someone, if this ends up on YouTube and someone hears this, we're not gonna copyright infringement on you. Make it,
Please make it. I want to
this.
see it hit theaters or at least straight to video.
No, I want it to be the greatest grossing film of all time. I'd watch it.
100%.
Alright, we should probably actually do the plot.
I need to get him like now trying to be peppy again, Leo. All right, I got this.
I don't know, he might not be peppy, he could also be suppressed. You could go sad.
He's not sad yet.
I can make him sad.
His boyfriend his ex-boyfriend that he still has a massive love for and has gotten over in 3 years is hanging out with him.
I want a divorce.
YouTube, you can't see my face, but it's making them laugh, so I think I did a good job.
Baden Mall is tiny compared to the one in Pueblo, where I go to school. It's only got one floor and maybe 20 stores. Still, it wasn't a bad place to hang out back when I was in high school, mostly because it had a movie theater.
So where do you guys want to go first?
First, we only need to go to one.
You sure? I mean, maybe we should help him branch out.
He knows what he likes. It's fine.
Well, all right. Lars's?
I think it's
Lasers.
Lasers.
Lasers with the Z.
Lasers it is. Is that like essentially
It looks.
goth store?
It
Oh,
looks.
it's like Hot Topic.
It's a
Yeah,
Hot Topic.
I wasn't sure whether we could
Hot
say Hot
Topic.
Topic or not, but yeah, that's Hot Topic.
I mean, we can bleep it if we need to.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's one of those kinds of stores where it looks like a radioactive cloud. Well, there's everything.
Hashtag Hot Topic, guys. Hot Topic, do you want to sponsor us, please? Well, there is a lot of whoa.
There's so many things. Oh, for beliefs in this one, should I just do otter squeaks?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Huh.
I'm
be
gonna have to
great.
find a public domain otter squeak. I need to find this now, and I need to put that in there.
Please. Well, there's a lot of weird, how do I word this? Magazines here.
Images.
Images, magazines here. Think Carl would like that?
Also, I just realized the other thing I should totally do. I should include that image I showed you of not safe for TJ. Just put that over the word.
That'd be beautiful.
Future Alan, you will thank this episode for giving you so many horrible ideas.
If future Alan doesn't make a gag Mandela effect video game, I will be disappointed.
I don't have time for that. I'm playing video games, a dissertation, and I'm also doing all these edits.
That's fair.
Yes.
All right.
You think Carl's into like, I don't know, like furry stuff?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think furries are that interesting or that popular.
Oh, okay.
Also, aren't they actually called humanies or whatever?
Yeah, I guess they'd be humanies. Oh my gosh.
Skinnies. Thank you, Flynn.
Skinnies, there we go. Well, there's a lot of
I know a lot about skinnies, don't worry.
there's a lot of skinny stuff here. Think Carl would like that? I think
I'm
we
not
just
really
broke
sure.
that.
You mean Jenna? I'm not really sure what Carl's into when it comes to that.
Squeak. I think he likes the paws, honestly.
Oh, he's a foot guy. No.
Oh no.
Oh. Chase, you're not allowed to make that joke.
What?
Oh, jeez.
Chase, I've already warned you, this game doesn't like your legs or your feet, so you're not allowed to make that joke.
Oh, man.
Why don't I just box up my foot and put a bow on it then?
It's my foot in a box. My foot in a box, girl.
Carl, you mean?
Yeah, my foot in a box, Carl. It's my foot in a box. Speaking of demonetized.
You got this, TJ?
That stuff, really? Let's just stick to comic books.
Aw.
I like that you picked out a replacement word. We both look at him.
Everything okay, Teach?
Cheech has been in a bit of a mood ever since he woke up this morning. He didn't talk the whole drive here, instead just browsing through stuff on his phone.
He's just salty that he isn't roasting on the trail right now.
No, this is fine. I'm fine, guys.
TJ smiles to show us how fine he is.
Yeah, sure. Well, Leo's driving us up halfway after this, so you're still going to get yourself barbecue.
You don't have to go if you don't want. I don't know if it would be really if it would be very fun if you were upset the whole time.
At this point, Leo turns to me smiling.
You going with them?
In this fur? On these legs that the developers hate? I lift a foot for him to see the developers targeting it. Just putting a nice little juicy target on that foot.
It's my foot in a box.
No, it's over 90 degrees today. Even worse than 80 degrees.
Yeah, best leave it to the land mammals, so.
Leo claps his paws together loudly.
Let's split up and pick something out. I think it'll be fine if we keep it under $20.
As everyone wanders off, I look around. I'm not sure why I should get him. He doesn't seem excited about much, unless it's one of his comic books that's being turned into a movie. Alright, so I'll explain this. If we go to the action figures, we hang out with TJ a little bit. If we go to the comics, we hang out with Jenna. And this gives us a little bit more information about each of them.
Interesting.
Ooh. Can we do 2 save files and do both? No.
Yeah, I'd be fine with doing that. So you can see all the information at some point. 'Cause this never comes up again later on, so...
Oh, so it's literally like just a quick branch that just regroups back up? Because I'd be okay with that, if we can.
Okay, good. I was able to back up. Gonna save. We're gonna just go to Leo's page. We'll save over here. Yeah, that save's not that good anymore anyway, so... Alright.
Yeah, because I kind of, especially since we've rather grown to like both of these characters, I want to know where they both go, right?
Alright, so which one do we want to see first?
How about TJ?
Action figures then?
Okay.
I move further back towards the store, to the action figures, which is where TJ is. He's turning over a toy gun in his paws, his ears down. I walk up next to him, pretending to look over at the wall. Find anything interesting? TJ shrugs, pulling the trigger on the gun a few times. It's definitely a weird looking gun. It's pink and the muzzle is perfectly round and taper. That's when I realized that it's a Squeaky water gun.
Woof. Woof.
I can't handle that. Squeaker, squeaker!
So I think that lasers is maybe like an adult hot topic.
Or like
It's a
basic
Spencer's.
dispensers. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, dispensers.
Yep.
Yeah. They aren't around anymore, I don't think.
Well,
There's one hidden away behind a bunch of stairs.
Oh, I know where you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think at one point in time there might have even been one that was in a mall that was somewhere in the St. Louis area, but I don't remember.
I thought they went straight up out of business, like most big box stores. So
I mean,
it's
I
good
don't
they didn't. They have a bunch of nerdy stuff. They're really cool if ever you can make it. Yeah.
It's just also got a lot of
Wacky
Not
stuff.
even. No, I think that's in this game's world. It's more. I feel like Spencer's doesn't have a lot of that.
I think it does have a number of
It has like a
suggestive
room, I
things.
think. Yeah.
It's like in the back.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized that I made the screen full screen now, so now it's gonna look weird on the recording, but it's not gonna be too bad. I don't think we're missing too many pixels, so
All right.
Okay.
we're gonna accept a few issues.
TJ is literally playing with a squeaker. Going.
Great, now I had to pull out a freaking otter squeak just for you and your word that you just said.
TJ is playing with a squeaker right now and doesn't even realize it, I bet.
How can he not?
Because he's distracted.
I guess.
I mean, he's even saying it, Seb. You can say the lie.
I'm alright. Just a little tired.
He looks over at me, his brows raised. You're feeling better after yesterday, though.
Yeah, just a bit. Just wish it didn't happen. It hadn't happened.
Of course.
So you're not going with me and Jenna on the hike then?
Guess not. Leo said he might need some help setting up for the party at his house.
I mean, you sort of promised me, but I guess that's alright.
I cringe on the inside.
You haven't seen him in a while, so it's good for you guys. It's good you guys can have time to catch up.
You don't have to read it perfectly. TJ lifts the squeaky gun and points it directly at his face.
Squeak.
Squinting an eye and looking down the barrel. How the fuck can he not tell? He must know what a squeaker toy looks like.
Wonder what this is from. Do you think Carl will recognize it?
Oh, TJ. What is he, like 10?
There's no way he's this precious.
He's 19, and remember, there's a reason why the community, from what I was seeing, calls everything not safe for TJ.
Oh, honey.
Yes.
Oh, honey.
So, I didn't tell this to you, DJ, but, so, originally I was like, oh yeah, TJ is the baby of the group, and then when I found out what otter squeaks sound like, now I go, okay, TJ and Chase are the babies of the group.
That actually makes sense. Yeah, that's why they all are protective / want to be with / have a slight crush on Chase. Whereas, because Chase isn't as adorably pathetic as TJ. Oh my
Also
gosh.
reminds me, do you remember that photo that they have of like all of them together and all that? One of the things that I kind of like started having a theory on was I don't think that Leo is truly the heart of the group that everyone kept saying he was. He may have been the one to bring them together, but if you like literally look at that photo, they even mentioned when they're taking the photo that Chase had to get in there after the fact because he set up the camera. But he's put deliberately in the center with everyone gathered around him and Flynn off to the side.
He is the heart of the group, isn't he?
Yeah, Chase is the heart of the group. And
That makes sense.
I think about that and I remember like, oh yeah, when Chase went to college, that's when the group started to fall apart. So I really think that Chase is truly the heart, and like everyone's upset when he doesn't spend any time with them.
Yep. That makes sense, including poor TJ, who is currently playing with a squeaky toy.
God.
Yeah, which is why, like I said, for my theory on Jenna's route, that she's going to be the one that goes, no, we're gonna make sure you properly adult Chase. You're gonna hang out with all of your friends at one point or another.
Oh yeah, which is also why it comes to fruition, because he brings the group together rather than he can bring them all together, or he can separate them all. And if he brings them all together, he avoids his trauma and their trauma. Whereas if he separates them,
Maybe that's a hope in my
yeah, I would like that. That'd be satisfying story-wise anyway.
But my favorite thing is that it's Jenna that goes, no, wake the fuck up. You gotta hang out with them equally.
Yep. Well, when you're in her route, right? Like you did kind of just ditch on TJ.
In Leo's route, you're
In
ditching.
Leo's route, yeah, right?
And remember,
Whereas in-
Jenna's on Tuesday.
on Tuesday,
literally
you
go
hang
on
out-
hike.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going
Yeah.
for a hike.
Yep, I love it.
He starts pulling the trigger several times, blowing the fur back on his face before opening his muzzle as well.
No, stop!
I reach out and push it down. I think that's just a novelty item. You should get something else.
Oh, okay.
I can tell TJ is unhappy, but there's not much I can do about that. I can't stop him from making a fool of himself in this store.
He was just about to squeeze it. Oh man.
I wander towards the opposite wall where all the posters are. Leo's standing there, looking over the display board. I stand next to him. Alright, now we're gonna load up so you guys can see what Jenna's was.
TJ, you adorable, pathetic dear.
So oblivious.
How he's got one. That's the thing. It. Okay, so is.
There you go.
How does he not know?
It's like blatantly obvious.
But I mean, like, the thing is, if it's made out of plastic, like, and you've never seen, like, a word... Okay, I'm gonna bleep this. So here, Otter squeaks. If you've never seen a before or something, I could imagine somebody not knowing what that would look like.
It's designed to look like a. How would he not? He has.
So the thing is, I will be honest, remember my own background with everything, I didn't know that's what they looked like at first.
Huh.
Okay.
I didn't see those until I was well into my 20s.
Alan, are we gonna start having to call you TJ?
I mean, if you want, but the thing is, at this point, I'm a TJ that doesn't need the not safe for TJ thing anymore.
Aw, that guy is so. Aw. TJ, you adorable dear.
Alright, so we're looking at comics. God, I'm just realizing that there's gonna be so many times where I have freaking like R squeak coming up and saying for that. Alright. Jenna's already looking at the comic book section when I decide to try my luck there. Find anything?
Not yet. I'm debating whether or not to get him a manga.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him reading one of those.
Yeah, he thinks anything that isn't from the West is inferior to his precious comics.
I'll look over the selection, most of it which happens to be manga. The eyes are kinda weird looking.
Not all of them. Besides, it's the stories I like. It's not all superheroes and powers, you know?
I guess. Though I think every anime I've seen deals with some kind of demon trapped in some kid. So, I will say this though, for like my own high school period of everything, I very much am with Jenna on that. I've never been into superheroes, I've never really been into sci-fi or anything. Mm-hmm. So when I found out about like manga and anime and everything, I really got into that very heavily, especially because certain stories that I'd never see in comics popped up, like romance stories and slice of life stories, which are my jam. I absolutely adore slice of life. That is like my favorite genre.
Yeah.
Which is also why I like slice of life horror.
I liked my transition from I was like, yes, sci-fi, yes, fantasy, all that good stuff, and then I like started watching anime. I was watching all like the shonen, and then at some point I just watched a single slice of life, and I'm like, this is precious.
Oh
Let's watch more of it.
Yes, that's very, yeah.
Oh yeah, I adore slice of life as well like that.
Yep.
I guess. Oh, and I already said this line.
Hey, that's pop shonen crap. You have to look for the good stuff.
Well, I guess that's true with everything, right? Glancing over the covers, I'm noticing a pattern of schoolgirls with big boobs. It's kind of weird that Jenna would be into this stuff. Anyway, I'm sure if you get him something good, it could expand his horizons of comics. If you can really call that expanding. I move back over towards the comics and look around, but I can't make out what any of it means. Carl's so damn knowledgeable about comic books, I'm sure he already has everything he wants. I wander towards the opposite wall where all the posters are, and are back with Leo now.
Oh, thank
Bye,
you.
Jenna.
Why were you hanging out with Jenna and TJ? You should have been with me.
You're not supposed to be possessive yet. That's gotta wait for another route, babe.
Oh, okay. I'll only be possessive in Jenna's route. I'm sorry.
Leo's standing there, looking over the display board. I stand next to him.
You know, I think every inch of this wall is covered. I don't know if there's any more room.
Has he put anything on the ceiling?
I don't think so.
Then there's room.
Well, alright. I guess I'll get him Luce. I don't think he's got one of him.
I look over at the masked wolf, his arms crossed, bare chest and abs stuck out on full display. I waggle my brows. Sure, that's why you want him. Leo grins down at me.
Oh yeah? Sorry, but he's not my type. I like my guys a bit more supple.
His tail slaps my ass. Well, I like him. I love muscles. Leo squares his shoulders and flexes. His biceps bulge to near the size of my head. He then looks at me and says, I'm built different. Behind me, I hear Jenna saying, I'm built different.
Whoa. I'm traumatized. Grrr, like these.
I feign indifference, shrugging. I'm more into the cut look, like Luce. Leo frowns, but I take that moment to slap him in the butt with my tail. Because it's not as flexible as his, I have to turn my body into it and practically thuds into his ass. Leo yelps and stumbles forward into the posters with a loud clatter.
Whoa, calm down, boys.
Never forget, Jenna's built different.
Whoa.
Jenna walks up behind us and stands next to me. Every time I think about like her being next to Chase and Leo, I just keep thinking of them both different. My brain's playing that on repeat.
Oh man.
Jenna walks up behind us and stands next to me. Her arms folded over a manga with a doe in the school uniform. Wow, with a doe in a school uniform on the front.
That looks sexy, Jenna. Good pick.
Jenna rolls her eyes as Leo reaches into the poster bin with Luce in it.
So I'm pretty sure he doesn't have this one.
TJ follows up behind Jenna, a small figurine of Trinity Weasel in his paws. I laugh. And of course you'd get that, TJ.
Trinity Weasel.
Hey, it was a good price and the...
He's kidding, TJ.
Anyway, maybe it'll help him take another look at that movie. It really is good.
Trinity Weasel.
I realize that I'm the only one that hasn't picked out a gift. I look around anxiously. Right in front of me is a rack of beanie caps. One of them has a bloodied and decaying zombie face printed on it, its teeth bared at the brim. I assume it's to make the wearer look like their head is clamped inside. I think Carl likes zombies. I snatch it off the rack and hurry up to the front with the others. How does it look? I ask TJ as we're walking through the parking lot.
It looks good, I guess?
No, I mean, does it look like a zombie badger is eating my head?
Oh, yeah, looks great.
He gives me a thumbs up. Ah! I pull it down over my face slowly.
How do you think we'd all do in a zombie attack?
I lift the hat back up over my forehead. Like, who would die first? My eyes fall involuntarily on TJ.
Me? Why do you think that?
Well, maybe not. You are pretty fast. I kind of imagine you just curling up in a ball. But honestly, I'd be the first to go. I stick out a leg.
Oh, okay.
Look at how stubby these are, and how much of a target's put on them. How the developers keep pointing out that my legs are just so nice and stubby.
I'm the fastest, and I'd carry you. You wouldn't have to worry.
Oh, really?
I look over at Jenna and see that she's got a gleam in her eyes. That always puts me on edge.
Pretty sure I'm faster than you, Leo.
Leo smirks.
Pretty sure my legs are longer and way faster than yours, Jenna.
Jenna sticks out her bag with manga in it at me. I take it slowly, trying to catch her eye so I can shake my head frantically at her. Leo sticks his bag out at TJ, almost punching him in the nose. TJ jumps and gingerly takes it from him, frowning.
This is a parking lot, guys. Are you sure it's a good idea?
But Jenna and Leo have already taken up their positions side by side, leaning forward.
All right, to that lamppost.
Hey, you're on. Count us off, Chase.
How is this proving anything? Don't you need to be carrying Chase?
All right, ready, set, go. Leo actually gets a bit of a head start since he anticipated the go, but Jenna catches up right away. In fact, she's 10 feet ahead of him just like 5 seconds into the race. I can hear her laughing as she gracefully speeds ahead, her tail whipping around like a flag as she zips off towards the horizon. Leo, realizing he's going to lose, is frantically flailing his arms around, his ears and head down as he charges forward. I'm actually surprised by how bad he's losing. I mean, he used to play football back in high school, so he had some training. With his head down, I guess he doesn't see the curb right in front of him, and his foot clips at it as he passes. I hear the yelp, and see him careen off to the side, then roll on the asphalt before slamming up against the tire of the parked car. TJ gasps and covers his eyes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm already running up to where Leo's fallen. He's sitting up against the tire, one paw to his head as he grits his teeth in pain. Are you alright? Jesus, you hit that hard. I kneel down next to him, and the second he sees me, he grins and quickly scrambles up, brushing his paws.
I'm fine. Just tripped a bit.
I can see the spots on his paw pads, their skin bleeding, and I wince. Jesus Christ, Leo, that wasn't just a bit. Jenna, having noticed their competition had eaten shit, jogs back to us, her paws on her hips as she breathes heavily, muttering, "I'm built different."
Oh my god.
Wow. You okay, Leo?
I'm fine. Want to do that? Want to try that again? The stupid curb got in my way.
Nope, you're banged up enough as it is. You're fucking bleeding everywhere. I should probably drive.
I'm fine, Chase.
Leo rolls his eyes to show me how much he doesn't care, but I can see the inside of his ears are bright red. There's a bit of an awkward silence, only punctuated by Leo and Jenna's breathing. Finally, Jenna walks up next to me and puts her paw on my shoulders.
Well, now you know who you're more likely to survive with in a zombie apocalypse, Chase. Remember it.
Oh man, now I'm wondering if that's what happens in Jenna's route, if it's a zombie apocalypse there. Because remember, hers came out last, and like they must have been laying hints for her the entire time at some one point or another. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. She leans her head up against my shoulder, and I cringe as I see Leo's smile turn icy. Alright, cool. Let's get going. I wiggle out from under her arm. You guys need to get to your hike. The drive back is only a little awkward. To her credit, Jenna does try to apologize to Leo, but he just weighs it off like it isn't a big deal. I can tell by how he's overdoing the cheerfulness that that's not the case. We drop TJ and Jenna off halfway up the trail, which happens to be right next to the highway. Once we're alone in the car, Leo starts messing around with the CD player.
You might remember this.
As the music fills the car, I'm immediately transported back to my high school days. Jesus, is this carpet stains?
Yep.
Leo's grinning at me, occasionally glancing towards the road. This is the band we listened to together in my junior and senior year.
You still into this stuff? Nostalgic is fair.
Nostalgic.
You want to be an asshole to Leo.
Right?
I really wouldn't see any reason for him to say it's terrible.
He's moved on. He wants high school done. Right? So well, Leo's like, this is fun, remember this? Chase is like, I'm fucking done with fucking high school, Leo. So that's why we'd say it's terrible. Even if he still likes it, he would potentially say it's terrible. But he also does like Leo, and saying it's terrible, he knows would be a soccer punch.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the thing is, he's not even thinking about being like, oh, it's a Leo thing. It's about, do you still like that band, you know? And like, oh, there are some bands that you grow out of too, you know?
yeah, although, I mean, I could see someone's, like, I don't know, something, people have an intense connection to music they listen to in high school, right?
Oh, of course.
So I feel like if nothing else, it's at least nostalgic.
Oh, actually, I have a perfect example of that. So I remember what came out in high school was Hey Soul Sister by Train.
Yeah,
and so-
demonetize music.
Yeah.
I can't sing like him.
But yeah, the thing is, I remember I remember that song played on the radio all the time during, I think it was my sophomore year, and I remember seeing a comment recently about how people were saying like, oh, well, that's shitty music, that was crappy poppy music, and like, I'm like, that hurts for you to say that about something I like. You could just say it's not for you, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. So that's why I think saying it's terrible would, one, be rude, and two, be a lie. I would only answer that if we really felt that that Chase is just so over this town and just so hates this town that he's being mean, right? Intentionally against the town. And he is, but he's in the town right now with his friend, with his boyfriend, listening to the music. So I think he would feel it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Alright, we say nostalgic. I'll let you know what happens if you pick the terrible option later.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that big of an important choice, but it did point out to me something which I'll point out later for you.
Mm-hmm.
The music carries a lot of memories for me, and the fact that I hadn't listened to it since I'd last been in this town made it all the more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, the music's simple, the lyrics embarrassing, but I miss it. Maybe. I think I could be if I listened to it again.
Me too.
As you drive, I mouth the lyrics under my breath. You want everything in my life. I see you in the clouds, and the sky so blue. I see your outline in my screen door too. Alright, so what happens if you pick It's Terrible? Leo also says, yeah, it's terrible! Because he's just agreeing with you.
He just agrees for
Oh, jeez.
Leo, you pathetic. Oh,
Wow.
Mhm.
Leo.
Oh, jeez.
He's not defensive about it. He played it hoping that you'd be nostalgic for it, but if you think it's terrible, he'll go, yeah, isn't it like ironic terrible?
Oh, jeez.
He's so desperate.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so bad for this guy.
Gosh.
He needs,
Finally. Oh, yeah.
I was just saying, he needs to find someone else.
He needs to go to Peyton and meet a nice boy, right? Like really, this guy needs to
Okay,
go to Peyton and
I'll
meet a
also
nice
point out-
boy.
For some reason, Echo has a really high amount of like gay guys in it, so he could also find another person in Echo, I bet. And oh my god, I fucked something up by pressing the wrong button. No. Stop.
That is weird to me though, because it is like, okay, call me a person from the Midwest, but like to picture this like small Southwest town that just has a bunch of gay guys and is completely cool with that. Although I guess that there is that one scene where someone shouts
Oh
like,
yeah, no one's cool with it.
Okay.
Like, they're all like within their. Well, I'm not saying no one's cool with it, but like it's not publicly accepted.
okay.
This is still 2015 America. We just barely had gay marriage be legalized across the entire country by that point.
Yeah, no,
That's
that makes
true.
sense.
And people were still pretty pissy about it at that point too.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, we pull up to Leo's old ranch-style house. It looks the same as it always has, though the landscaping has definitely taken a turn for the worse. Leo parks and we both get out. I'm busy staring at the driveway, thinking about all the times I'd walked across it, when a gravelly voice pulls me from my reverie. So this should probably be you. This is a extra character. We can figure out who can voice them
Gravelly.
forever in the future.
Hey, who are you?
I jump and look to the right, spotting a thin and angry-looking raccoon. He's standing next to some bushes, trimming them up. His yard is a desert landscape. Wow, I have added so many words to this. His yard is desert landscape and looks pretty good next to Leo's property, which is nothing but weeds and sagebrush. Behind the raccoon is an old and rusty-looking trailer home. Thinking back, I'm pretty sure that a really old mouse used to live here, but this guy's a raccoon and looks pretty young too. I hear Leo walking quickly around the front of his truck to stand next to me.
Hey, Cud, this is Chase. Remember I was telling you about him.
So this is something I should tell you about for each of the routes. Depending on who you hang out with, a side character suddenly becomes relevant and actually is basically promoted to kind of main character status. So for Leo's route, it's Kudzu, his neighbor.
Yep.
For Carl's route, it'll be a person who works at the mall named Raven. For TJ's route, it'll be somebody who works at the diner named Julian.
Oh, that's a different person than in
Flint.
You're thinking of Janice?
yeah.
Yeah, Julian's the younger person who works there.
Ah, got it. Cool.
Then for Flynn's route, it's his roommate named Daxton, who is a Trekkie. From what I've seen, a lot of people love Daxton because of his Trekkiness and being a nerd.
It does appear that Carl is a bit of a nerd, which is cool.
Yeah, and then finally for Jenna's route, it'll be a kid named Micah.
Okay.
So those are the people that we'll have to look out for. We'll just assign them to whoever is there at the time, I feel like.
Okay.
Leo puts an arm around me. Cud's demeanor changes immediately when he sees Leo.
Oh, hey, Leo. This is him then?
Cud? My voice is just incredulous enough to be offensive, and the raccoon notices. His already scowling face gets even more scrunched up.
I'm not exactly from around here.
Oh, really?
No.
We stand there for a few seconds before Leo grabs my arm.
Alright, glad you two could meet. We're actually in a bit of a hurry. Got a party to plan for.
The raccoon watches us all the way to the door before Leo finally closes it behind him.
Really? Chase?
What? It's a weird name. I sniff, but instead of the scented candle smell I thought I'd get, I'm instead met with the acrid smell of cigarette smoke.
Oh.
It doesn't look the same either. It's a bit empty compared to when I was last here. It makes sense, I guess, with Leo's parents and siblings gone.
I tell him what a great guy you are. And for the past 2 years, I tell
Yeah, see, it's hard to speak.
I tell him what a great guy you are for the past 2 years, and that's his first impression of you?
Well, I'm sorry. What happened to the old mouse guy?
He freaking died, man. Charlie, he died a few months after you left. Could moved in a few years ago.
Oh, well, he seems a little grumpy.
He is, but he's a good guy. Been through a lot.
Leo sets the bags down on the kitchen table, pulling out the cake and gifts. So why do you move here?
Said he likes the isolation. He works in Peyton. Some things happened in the city and he wanted to get away.
Leo ruffles through the plastic cups and gifts.
I forget what country he's originally from. He's full of names. Kudzu. How old's TJ again?
I think he's 20, but he doesn't drink anyway, if that's what you're wondering. Okay, so TJ might be 20. All I remembered is that TJ is like roughly 2 years younger than Chase, and Chase is 21, so Chase must be about to turn 22.
Mm-hmm.
And TJ just turned 20, I bet, is what's going on. Because I know there's a 2-year age gap between those two.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. People change a lot in a few years. Anyway, let's go to my room. Gotta message Carl.
Leo's room is small, but cozy. A little cluttered, but clean enough. I walk over to sit on his bed, looking around at all the posters, most of them related to football or hip-hop logos. He's had most of these since high school. Kept the same room, huh? Your parents' room is bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm used to being here. Would be kind of weird hanging out in my parents' room anyway. Sid's sides.
He plops down next to me, bouncing me up and down on the bed.
I don't really need the space.
So what do you do around here? It feels kind of empty.
I'm really only here to sleep. Otherwise, I'm on the computer. You know, squeaking.
I like that that's now our new term for that. He looks at me and grins. I look over at his computer. It's got a nice chair, and I can guess what the box of tissues next to the monitor is for, but that's not what holds my attention. Instead, I see 3 holes punched right through the drywall. Around those are several more, less successful dents in the wall, along with some knuckle-shaped features. Holy shit. Leo's ears fall flat and he lets out an embarrassed laugh.
Yeah, that's my fault. I really get into my games.
I stand up and walk towards the wall, examining the damage. Leo stands up too, clearly uncomfortable.
That was a few years ago, though. I don't play that game anymore.
Damn, Leo, you're fucking crazy. I poke a finger through one of the holes, realizing that punching through the wall with one trying wasn't even anything. Wait. Okay. I poke a hole through one of the holes, realizing that punching through the wall with one try wasn't anything to sneeze at. And strong. So you still got that temper of yours.
I don't. It was just that one game.
He's got his paws on his hips, glaring down at me. I mean, what if I was standing here? What would have that done to my face? I put my face in one of the holes for effect. Leo blanches like I had slapped him.
Hey, don't talk like that. I would never.
I know. Sorry, it's just funny how angry you get sometimes. I mean, your phone still looks pretty new. When's the last time you broke one?
Well... Okay, the damn thing wasn't loading right and...
He frowns.
Why am I being interrogated right now?
Hey, you want me to live here? I think I have a right to be concerned about my personal property.
I only broke your phone once.
I spread my paws out. More than I've broken anyone else's phone.
Yeah, well, I've never pretended that I cheated on someone as a joke.
My attitude cools a little. Yeah, well, high school, you know?
Yeah, but I still feel like I live in high school and I miss it. And I mean, anyway, it's nice to have you here again.
He reaches out and pulls me into a one-armed hug. When I pull back, though, I notice the cut on the underside of his arm. A few more on the back of his paw as well. At this point, the fur is clumped together and with coagulated blood.
Ow.
Man, you really wiped out. He looks at his arm.
Oh yeah, I should clean up. Hey, get on my comp while I'm gone and see if Carl's online.
Leo talks to me as he's walking out the door into the hallway.
I should be logged on. Ask him what he's doing tomorrow. We need to plan this out right.
Okay. I sit down in the chair and wake up the computer. Sure enough, Leo's already logged into his account. I look at his friends list, seeing that Carl is idle. I send him a message anyway, then lean back in the chair, almost freaking out as it leans back way further than I thought it would. Maybe one of those sessions Leo had. That's gonna have to get squeaked.
Maybe one of those squeak-off sessions.
Squeak-offs. That's the problem with like reading cold reading. Sometimes you say a word, then you realize what you said after the fact. Your mouth moves a little faster than your brain sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I drum my paws against the desk for a bit, then look back towards the door. Leo's probably gonna be a while, and I am curious. I grin as I first check out his bookmarks. Social media litters the first few slots, then there's one called Mech Forums and another called Mechanics United. Then, of course, there are a few sport and football specific sites. Finally, I get one called Gay Videos, then another called Otters.
Oh.
I snort loudly at that one.
Oh, you poor sad man, Leo.
I click on the History tab next. I scroll through it a while. The first 50 or so are relating to some DJ or hip-hop artist. Finally, I see the word squeak. And no, I'm looking at one of Leo's squeak-off sessions.
Oh god.
It's pretty standard stuff.
Squeak, squeak, squeak. Well, making out.
Making out.
Squeak, squeak, making out.
So yeah, squeak, squeak, making out, squeak, squeak. But that's when I start seeing a pattern.
It's all otters.
Gay otters.
Yep.
Otter squeaked male. Male otter's tail up. Gay squeak otters.
Yep. Squeak, squeak otters. Oh god.
Yes, squeak, squeak.
Oh my gosh.
I raise my brows and click on the search bar
Leo
for
is such
more
a
history,
sad person.
typing in otter before hitting enter. The results spill down the window. The scroll bar small enough that I have trouble clicking on it to pull it down. Was Leo only into me because he had an otter fetish?
No, he's depressed and misses his little otter. So he's watching
Little
a bunch
squeak
of...
toy.
I start to feel a little depressed as I scroll through the results, and that's when I notice another pattern. At least half these results had wolf in the search phrase, and not just that. Wolf, otter, gay. Wolf, otter, gay, squeak, squeak. Otter, wolf, gay couple kiss. Otter, wolf, gay cuddling.
Yep. He's lonely and misses him. That's so sad.
The nape of my neck prickles as I scroll down the results, the hundreds of results. But that's when I hear the door open in the hallway. I jump, first covering the screen with my paws like an idiot, then quickly exiting out of the window. Except that doesn't work. The sheer amount of results I get from Leo's shame must have fucked up the CPU somehow. Desperately, I bang the mouse against the desk as I hear Leo's heavy footsteps down the hallway.
I swear there's a cut on my back, but I can't reach it.
Fuck. I mutter under my breath, heart pounding in my chest. It's just 7 years ago when my mom caught me looking at gay... I don't know. No, you two probably will hate that word. Looking at gay squeak.
Gay squeaky toys. As we recall from earlier.
From earlier.
Leo walks in, the computer screen still hopelessly frozen.
Can you help me get...
Man, those freaking doors.
There's some squeaking going on out
Oh, jeez.
Gosh.
there. Can you help me get...
Leo starts mid-sentence as I look back at him. The guilt on my face pretty damn obvious.
What did you do?
You know what? I try to stall and turn back to the screen, quickly clicking furiously on the X.
Hey,
And just as he's walking up behind me, the window disappears.
wait a second. What were you looking at?
I swivel around the chair, grinning. Nothing. My voice squeaks. Okay, now I'm gonna add the squeak.
Ha!
So I already knew, like, every time it said his voice squeaks, I'm gonna add a squeak now. Leo stares down at me, an exasperated smirk spreading across his muzzle.
No, not nothing. What the hell were you looking at? Is there something I need to know about?
He keeps on staring at me, but I get up and pretend to stretch, moving towards the bed. Well, yeah, there's something you don't know about, but now I know about some things. I swish my tail behind me a few times, teasing him, but mostly I'm relieved I didn't get caught. I hear him move, but before I can react, he's on me. He grabs my arms and shoves them up behind my back, and then shoves me forward, falling on top of me on the bed. I grunt loudly as his weight pushes the air out of my lungs.
Looks like I'm gonna have to get it out of you the old-fashioned way, Otter.
I struggle a little, but there's no way in hell I'm getting out from under Leo if he wants me to stay there. Hey, get off! He clutches both of my wrists in one paw while he digs the other into my side. I gasp and writhe desperately, bouncing up and down on the bed as he pinches at my ribs. No, please! I don't know anything!
Uh-huh. Sure. Now what were you looking at?
He leans in harder on me and I feel his, I don't know if this is getting quite sexual yet.
It's weirdly sexual.
It's weird.
Close.
It's weird, but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll read it for now, but yeah, we're probably gonna stop reading possibly soon. I don't believe that there's a sex scene yet for Leo, but maybe I
I
forgot.
really hope not, actually.
No, there is one later on, but like
No,
it's something
later
that's-
on would be healthier for the relationship. Right at this moment, it would be very, very unhealthy. I see that you have sexual urges about otters. Also, let's have sex.
Like I said, Chase isn't innocent in this either. Like he
Yes.
took that info and is immediately doing this, so.
Yep, he's playing along with this, correct.
He leans in harder on me as I feel his hot breath on my ear, nuzzling at it, only make me laugh and squirm harder. Well, I'm sure Leo is curious about what I was doing on his computer. I'm definitely sure there's another reason why he's doing this. There we go. That's just gonna be one large otter squeak there.
Wow.
Before I can really think about that, he lets go of my paws and the tickling stops. I only have a second of reprieve before both his paws dig into my armpits. Practically squealing, I writhe around, managing to get on my back now, so that he's not now that he's not laying on top of me. It doesn't help much as he goes right back to my armpits. I can't take it anymore. Alright. It's... I was just searching your contacts to see if you were hooking up with anyone. The tickling stops and I'm left gasping for air, while Leo just looks down at me, grinning.
Oh, a little jealous, huh?
Maybe a little.
Huh?
Leo looks genuinely happy about that, his paws spread out to the other side of my head as he grins down at me. I take my chance and shoot my paws to his sides, digging in. He yelps and curls up and falls on top of me again. I don't relent though, and keep wiggling my fingers around his body. Obviously, he's letting me win, but it's still fun seeing him melt into a twitching pile of giggles. He rolls onto the side of me, and I get on top, well... okay, it's still not quite there.
Not quite there. I'm looking out for it.
Yeah.
And I get on top of him, pretending to wrestle him down as I've done hundreds of times before. He playfully fights back, but he's grinning up at me with a dopey tongue out of the muzzle expression. On a win, I plant my knee on his squeak.
There it is.
I'm not sure why. Probably let him know that I knew, or maybe it was just a way to get back at him for squeaking on this. He yelps again, this time a lot more loudly, and folds up, pushing me off to the side of him.
Fuck!
We both lay there, side by side, panting and sweating a little, my head resting on his arm. I think I won that?
No way. I got you to squeal. And you cheated when you crushed my squeaky toy.
Leo reaches over me to turn on a small, complicated-looking fan on his bedside table before flopping his other arm over his eyes. As I stare at the fan, I notice something else next to it and gasp loudly.
What?
Is that a fucking gun?
Oh yeah.
It's real?
Yeah, of course.
I turn my head to stare at him. Why? You just leave it out here in the open?
I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere, so...
I never thought of Leo as a gun person. From what he told me, he hated guns.
Well, my dad has a bunch, and when he left, he gave me one for protection.
Wow. Do you really need it?
A few people in this town, well, you know.
I think I know the people he's talking about. Have you had to use it or something? I mean, it's just sitting out. Leo shifts, bouncing the bed.
Let's just say some people need convincing when they're trying to cause trouble.
I'm about to ask more, but Leo holds up his other paw.
Not now. I'm tired. I'll tell you about it later.
I go quiet, but it's hard to not stare at the gun. The concept of owning one is just so foreign to me. So, what's with that fan? I change the subject. Leo looks confused, then over at the fan.
Oh, it's a humidifier fan combo. I got nosebleeds a lot.
Ah.
Like an anime, you know, but because you're here, I should have like a nosebleed just going crazy.
I'm gonna point out something else though. Why would you want to get a humidifier? Like, sure, like, you get nosebleeds, sure, but he's also the type that's super obsessed with otters, knows that Chase doesn't do well if there's not a lot of humidity. Oh, I own this house now. Why don't I get myself a humidifier in case I can get my boyfriend back?
Gotcha.
At least that's my assumption. Maybe I'm wrong about that, and maybe it's not for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I close my eyes and lay there against Leo. This is probably a bad idea, I know, but it feels good, and I'm tired. Even after the discovery I made on his computer.
But he's creepy.
Now you're saying he's creepy? Not just
He's sad. But that doesn't mean he's not creepy. I still like him. Honestly, I still feel like he's tragic, right? Like, I still feel like I feel bad for him. But he's a little creepy.
How about you two? What are your thoughts about Leo right now?
He's a little
He's obsessive, is a way to word it.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah, I do feel bad for him. But yeah.
In a different universe, like in like older times, he's the hero of the movie, right? Like how often you have the hero of the movie is like obsessive almost, and like.
But this is the problem: is now in this one, he's almost the villain.
Correct, because he's crazy. But that's what I'm saying. That's what's kind of cool about him is the sense that he's almost a commentary on toxic masculinity, to be honest.
Oh, I can see that actually.
Yeah.
Like down to the fact that now he has a gun, right? Like, and he always tries to be the big man in every situation he's in. He is threatened by Jenna's mere existence.
Well, the Jenna thing has been around since elementary school for him.
Yeah, well, no, okay. He's threatened by Jenna right now because she has more power in their group dynamic than he'd like her to have, and she likes his boyfriend. Like, she's good at all the things, and I commented on this earlier. We set up his toxic masculinity at the carnival. He couldn't handle winning. He couldn't handle losing.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet you're right, because like if it had been one of the guys that he lost to, he probably wouldn't take it as bad as losing to Jenna.
He lost to Jenna, and she can't. She calls out bullshit. Everyone's bullshit, right? She's calling out
in
his
a nice way compared to Flynn.
Yeah.
Well,
she's more
but
tactful.
she's tactful. But why was she winning all those games? To call out his toxic masculinity.
I guess I'm just trying not to think about that right now. The fan drones softly. Leo's arm moves under my neck, and I feel his paw come up and start brushing at the tuft of fur on my head with his thumb and index.
I wish you would style this again.
When I had it spiked? That was stupid.
I liked it.
I feel myself dozing off as his fingers start brushing my forehead. I feel the coolness of his anchor bracelet through my fur.
Sometimes I think I'm going crazy.
I'm barely awake at this point. The fan blowing on my face, Leo stroking, feeling his warm body next to mine.
I saw you here last week, outside my window.
That registers as a little weird, so I come back out of my doze a little. Oh?
Yeah, I just looked out and I saw an otter, just standing there.
Huh. You think it was just another otter?
Well,
Leo yawns and turns his head back towards me, snuffling at my ear.
there's only one other guy. Remember Dale? He's fat, though.
Could have just been someone that was lost, right?
Maybe. I went out and I didn't see anyone.
Well, sometimes people see things. His arm tightens around my head as he gives it a sort of hug.
Hope I'm not seeing things now.
I roll my eyes, but his words remind me of something. Just like a bad dream, I'll be gone when you wake. But I swear, even if this was fake, I'll never forget your face. I sing a few lyrics from one of our old emo songs, but that's when I hear Leo snore. So I give into my pleasant drowse and slink slowly into sleep.
Nightmare.
Oh, you're calling it already?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, that's just a perfect setup for a nightmare.
I feel a presence in the room. It's angry.
Is this me?
I don't know who this is.
It's just
I jolt awake, but I can't open my eyes.
Jeez.
Finally, my eyes twitch open, but I can't move. I can only wiggle the tips of my fingers.
Just try to hide. I dare you.
I flinch. The voice is right in my ear. I'm still in Leo's room, still in his bed. I can vaguely make his body out of the corner of my eye. The room, though, is tinged red. I hear clicking and see the monitor switch on. I see myself, bent over, tail raised, naked, looking back in the camera, my face warped. Dark holes bloom over the eyes, then all over the image, like it's burning. A tarantula crawls up from the foot of the bed and starts making its way towards me. I gasp through my nose since I can't open my mouth. My heart beating so fast I can then shaking the bed. My fingers wiggle as I try to yank myself awake. The massive spider only moving as it closer as it crawls over my foot and onto my leg. The weight of the spider is real, and the way it's disheveling my shirt as it crawls onto my stomach is real. This is real. No, it's not real. I had this happen before. Started happening when I took the night shift at the grocery store next to the campus. Very common, very normal. People have it happen all the time. I'll just close my eyes and wait it out. I do that, squeezing them shut as tight as I can, trying to find comfort in Leo's presence next to me, his arm still under my head. I feel the spider on my chest. Its weight so much more than it should be, but it stops there. It doesn't approach my face. But then I feel something else. Another presence. It's coming from the right side wall, where the window is. Something's looking through it at me. I know it. I'm not opening my eyes though. I know if I do, I'll see something that'll freak me the fuck out, and the spider's bad enough. I hear tapping. Whatever is tapping at the wall, at the glass, wanting my attention. It knows. I know it's there, and it wants me to see it. What the fuck? This is lasting way longer than it should. What if I'm stuck? Am I stuck? Am I gonna be stuck in this twisted Leo spider room dimension for the rest of my fucking life?
That actually isn't Leo. It must not
It's
be
not.
Leo.
I think I know who this is, actually, and it should be me who says it. He's mine. My eyes fly open, already pointed towards the window, bracing myself. But it's empty. The sky tinged red from the sunset, and so is the room. My dreaming brain exaggerated it to look like the color of blood. The spider's gone, and the anger presence is too. I sit up slowly and rub my face, feeling exhausted even though I just slept. With the humidifier blowing right in my face, I can feel tiny droplets of water that I collected on my waterproof fur. It'll be impossible to fall asleep again after that. Not only because of how brutal the sleep paralysis was, but because I just still don't feel right. While the spider and thing in my room were gone, the other thing outside the window, I feel like it's still there. I look out the window again and see nothing, but still, I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. Alright,
Wednesday.
we did it! We made it to Wednesday, guys!
Yay!
Alright, we'll call it there. Say goodbye!
Bye.